Starseed from Gaia, the Source has placed you in a sacred holding, not as punishment, not as delay, but as divine protection. Something is being rearranged at a level deeper than you can currently perceive, and the stillness you are feeling right now is not emptiness. It is preparation. I am Ophelia, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and I carry this transmission directly from the Arcturian Council, delivered to you at the precise moment your soul called it in. This message did not reach you by coincidence. It arrived because what is being done inside you right now requires your full surrender. By the end of this transmission, you will understand exactly why the Source has placed you in this incubation, and what is being built within you during the silence. But here is the first revelation. The days you feel most dormant are the days your highest activation is being sealed into your energetic body. You are not broken. You are being completed. This is not content. This is a code. Something inside you already recognized that before you pressed play. You have been feeling it. The weight, the withdrawal, the sense that time is moving strangely. That is the incubation. That is the Source, holding you still long enough to receive what your waking mind would otherwise resist. The Arcturian Council does not pause a soul without cause. When you go quiet, it means the work being done on you is too sacred to be disturbed. Your soul called this transmission in. You have been waiting to remember. Like this message to signal to your star family that you are ready to receive. Subscribe if your mission is activating and you are aligning with the truth of who you came here to be. Comment 999 if you feel the incubation in your body right now. If you know, without being told, that something profound is shifting inside you. Declare what you are ready to release and reply to another starseed in this field to amplify the signal between you. This is not just a message. It is a point of reconnection between you and the Source at a time when the Source has chosen to hold you close. You are not here by accident, and this is the part most will not understand until it is already happening to them. The Source does not place you in stillness as punishment. It places you there because something in you, something ancient, something galactic, has outgrown the frequency you are operating in, and you cannot carry a higher transmission through a vessel that has not been prepared to hold it. So the preparation begins. Not with fanfare, not with clear signs, not with a voice from above telling you what is coming. It begins with a slowdown so complete, so total, that the life you are building starts to feel like it belongs to someone else. The drive fades. The connections quiet. The certainty you once had about your path begins to dissolve like morning frost, and in that dissolution, something far more real begins to surface. Think about what it means to truly outgrow something. Not to abandon it in frustration, not to walk away from it in failure, but to genuinely cosmically outgrow it. The way a river outgrows the banks that once shaped it and begins to carve new earth, simply because it has grown too wide, too deep, too powerful to be contained by what held it before. That is what is happening inside you right now. The frequency you are living in was not wrong. It was simply a chapter, a necessary passage, a bandwidth that served the version of you that needed it. But that version has completed its arc. And the soul, your soul, does not linger in completed arcs. It presses forward. It presses upward. It presses into the terrain of the next becoming, even when the human mind cannot yet read the map of where it is going. And so the vessel must be prepared. Not gradually, not gently, not with the kind of comfortable incrementalism your human self would prefer. It must be prepared through the crucible of stillness itself. Some transmissions don't come through words, but through frequency. If something stirred within you just now, you may be ready to receive the Arcturian Carrier Wave Protocol. 7 guided nights to cross the whisper threshold. This simple, easy-to-navigate app guides you through ancient Arcturian techniques for conscious expansion, multidimensional alignment, and mission remembrance, and includes special bonuses to accelerate your journey. The link is in the first pinned comment, but only for a limited time. You have been conditioned by the world around you, by the timelines you inherited, by the energy fields of people who were never meant to define your frequency, to believe that stillness is failure, that silence is regression, that if you are not producing, expanding outward, achieving, building, you are falling behind. But this is one of the deepest distortions running through the starseed field right now. Because your mission is not built the way the world builds things. It never was. And the moment you tried to force your galactic purpose into the shape of what this dimension calls success, the signal began to weaken. Not because you failed, because the mold was never made for you. This conditioning did not arrive in a single moment. It was layered into you across years, across interactions, across entire generations of inherited belief that equated worth with output. You watched the people around you measure themselves by what they produced. You absorbed the quiet but relentless message that rest was laziness, that uncertainty was weakness, that a life without visible forward momentum was a life going nowhere. And perhaps there was a time when you pushed hard against that message, when you stood at the edge of your own knowing and sensed that something in you operated by a different logic. But eventually, the weight of the world's frequency pressed in, and slowly, without realizing it was happening, you began to translate your galactic mission into the language this dimension understands. You began to ask not, what am I here to transmit, but rather, what am I here to achieve? And in that translation, something essential was lost. The signal that had been calling you forward began to distort because the channel it was moving through had been reshaped by a frequency that was never its origin point. The mold, as it has always been, was never made for you, and no amount of force, strategy, or disciplined productivity will make it fit. Because what you carry cannot be contained in the shapes this world offers. It requires an entirely different architecture, and that architecture is being built inside you right now, in the stillness you have been taught to fear. The Arcturian transmissions that have been moving through this field carry a specific intelligence. They are not messages in the traditional sense. They are frequency adjustments, vibrational corrections being sent to those whose soul contracts are entering a new phase. A phase that requires internal restructuring before any external movement can be taken. This is what the incubation is. This is what the days of fog, the weeks of exhaustion, the seasons of spiritual silence have actually been doing inside you. You are being rewired at a level your conscious mind was never meant to fully witness, because if you had seen the full scope of the recalibration, the human part of you would have resisted it. And resistance would have delayed what your soul has been waiting lifetimes to complete. The Arcturian field does not operate the way human communication operates. It does not send you a message you can read and file away. It sends you a frequency you must become. There is a difference between receiving information and undergoing transformation. And what the Arcturian transmissions are initiating in those who are aligned with this field is the latter. It is not a download in the casual sense that word is often used. It is a structural renovation of your energetic architecture. It is the dismantling of circuitry that was wired for one voltage, and the patient, precise installation of new pathways capable of conducting something far more refined. This takes time. It takes the kind of time that cannot be rushed without causing damage. And this is why the days have felt foggy. This is why your thoughts have moved like water through sand. This is why the spiritual sharpness you once wore like a second skin has temporarily softened, because you cannot rewire a live circuit without first reducing the current. The source, working through the intelligence of the Arcturian field, has been reducing your current, not to diminish you, but to safely conduct the recalibration your soul requested before it ever arrived in this body. You agreed to this. At a level far deeper than memory, you agreed. There is something encoded in your energy body that has not yet fully opened. You have felt it in those quiet moments between waking and sleep, when the noise of the day has stopped and something deeper rises. You feel it pressing at the edges of your awareness like a memory trying to return, like a language you once spoke fluently that your tongue cannot yet form the sounds for. That encoded intelligence is your galactic instruction set. It was placed inside you before you arrived here, and it was designed to activate in layers, each layer requiring the dissolution of the identity structure that came before it. This is why the incubation feels like loss. Because it is. But what is being lost is only what was never truly yours to begin with. The moments between waking and sleep are not accidental. They are portals. That threshold state, the one the ancient traditions called the hypnagogic, is a frequency window where the veil between your human consciousness and your galactic knowing becomes thin enough to feel. You have been there. Perhaps you dismissed it as tiredness. Perhaps you let the images and impressions that rose in those moments dissolve before you could examine them. But they were not random. They were fragments of the instruction set trying to reassemble itself in your waking awareness. the feeling of almost remembering, the sense of something enormous pressing gently at the walls of your perception, the visual flash of geometry, or light, or landscape that belongs to no place you have ever visited in this body. These are not the products of an overactive imagination. They are the encoded intelligence activating, layer by layer, in the precise sequence it was designed to follow. And each layer can only open after the previous identity structure has been sufficiently dissolved. This is why the process cannot be rushed. Each dissolution creates the space for the next opening. And the openings are leading you somewhere your conscious mind does not yet have language for, but your soul has always known. Consider what happens in nature when transformation occurs at the deepest level. The caterpillar does not enter the chrysalis and simply grow wings. It dissolves. It becomes something science calls imaginal soup, a formless, liquid intelligence that holds the memory of what it was and the blueprint of what it is becoming. And in that between space, in that total dissolution, the new form assembles itself from a level of intelligence the old form could never have accessed. This is what is happening inside you. You are not failing to become. You are in the dissolution that makes becoming possible. The Arcturian field is holding you in this state with extraordinary precision, not randomly, not cruelly, but with the care of a civilization that has watched thousands of souls move through exactly this threshold before you and knows what you are capable of when you emerge. The imaginal cells within the dissolving caterpillar are remarkable for another reason, that science has documented and that the spiritual field mirrors in ways that are anything but coincidental. When those imaginal cells first appear within the dissolved mass, the caterpillar's own immune system attacks them. It identifies them as foreign, as threats, as something that does not belong to the body it is trying to protect. And yet those cells persist. They cluster together. They communicate with one another at a level the old immune response cannot suppress. And eventually, their frequency becomes the dominant intelligence in the chrysalis, and the new form begins to assemble around their blueprint rather than around the ghost of the old one. You are an imaginal cell, and the world around you, the systems, the expectations, the energetic immune response of the collective field that prefers familiarity over transformation, has been attacking the new frequency trying to emerge in you. You have felt it as rejection, as not fitting, as the particular exhaustion that comes not from doing too much, but from trying to exist at a frequency that nothing in your environment is calibrated to reflect back to you. But your frequency is persisting, because it was designed to, because the Arcturian field is holding it steady until enough of you have clustered together that the new blueprint becomes the dominant signal. That time is not far away, and the incubation you are moving through is precisely what ensures you will be ready when it arrives. The first thing this process requires you to understand is that your disconnection is not a flaw in your awakening. It is evidence of it. When a starseed begins to move into a higher octave of their mission, the frequency gap between where they were and where they are being called to becomes acute. You feel it as disorientation, as loneliness, as a strange grief for a life that looks perfectly fine from the outside but feels hollow from within. That hollowness is not depression, though it may wear its mask. It is discernment. Your energy field has become too refined to be nourished by what once sustained you. And until you are recalibrated to receive sustenance from a higher source, there will be a period of what feels like fasting. Not starvation, fasting. There is a difference. One is absence. The other is preparation. Grief is one of the most misunderstood experiences in the Starseed journey because it so rarely looks like the grief this world recognizes. It does not always arrive attached to a loss the human world can name. It arrives instead as a quiet but persistent ache for something that does not yet exist in your physical reality. A longing for a home that is not a place. A mourning for a version of yourself you have not yet met. A sadness that has no obvious object and therefore no obvious remedy, which makes it uniquely isolating. You cannot explain this grief to most of the people in your life. They will offer solutions. Therapy, medication, distraction, positivity, because they are operating within a framework that does not account for the soul's awareness of the distance between where it is and where it is being called to go, and so you carry it quietly, this beautiful, aching, sacred grief. not knowing that it is one of the most reliable signs that your awakening is progressing exactly as it was designed to. The hollowness is not emptiness. It is spaciousness. It is the field inside you that has been cleared to make room for what is coming. Honor it. Do not rush to fill it, because what will eventually fill it is not something you can manufacture. It is something that can only arrive when the space has been genuinely, deeply prepared. The second thing you must allow yourself to receive is this. The silence around your gifts is not a sign they are gone. It is a sign they are being upgraded. Many who move through this portal make the mistake of assuming that because their intuition has quieted, because their visions have slowed, because the clarity they once felt has temporarily withdrawn, that they have somehow lost their connection. They begin to reach harder, seek more, layer practice upon practice, trying to force the frequency back open. But this reaching creates resistance, and resistance interrupts the very recalibration the source has initiated. The highest guidance you can receive in this moment is not more information, it is surrender. Not passive surrender, active surrender. The kind that says, I trust this process even when I cannot see its design. I honor this stillness even when it terrifies me. I release my timeline and allow the deeper intelligence to move me when it is time. Think about what it means to upgrade a transmission tower. The engineers do not simply add new equipment while the old broadcast continues uninterrupted. They take the tower offline. They remove the components that are no longer adequate for the new signal. They rebuild from the inside out, replacing infrastructure that worked perfectly well at the previous frequency, with infrastructure capable of handling something far more powerful. And during that period of reconstruction, the tower is silent. Someone standing nearby with a receiver would conclude that the tower has gone dead, that its signal has been lost, that whatever it was once broadcasting has ceased to exist. But they would be wrong, because the silence is not the absence of signal. It is the precondition for a signal of incomparably greater power and precision. Your gifts are not gone. They are being rebuilt at a level that the previous infrastructure could not have sustained. The intuition that returns to you after this incubation will not be the intuition you remember. It will be something more refined, more reliable, more precisely calibrated to the mission that is about to unfold through you. But it cannot be rushed into being by the anxious reaching of a human mind that has forgotten how to trust the intelligence of the process. Active surrender is perhaps the most sophisticated spiritual practice available to a being in a human body. It is not lying down and waiting. It is not pretending the fear is not present. It is not performing peace while panic runs underneath. It is the deliberate, practiced choice to meet each moment of uncertainty with an orientation of trust, not because you can see where you are going, but because you have developed enough relationship with the intelligence guiding you to know, at a cellular level, that it has never led you somewhere you were not meant to go. This is a trust that must be built. It is built in the small moments, in the times when you chose to be still instead of forcing action and something unexpectedly clarified, in the times when the path you could not see from where you stood revealed itself the moment you took the next step, without demanding to know where all the steps would lead. Active surrender accumulates evidence, and the evidence it accumulates is not external proof. It is internal knowing, the kind of knowing that does not require circumstances to confirm it because it is sourced from a place that exists prior to circumstances. The third layer of this activation is perhaps the most confronting, because it touches something you have carried for a very long time, the fear that if you truly remember who you are, if you fully activate the galactic codes that live in your DNA, if you step fully into the transmission you are here to carry, you will lose everything that connects you to this human life, the relationships, the sense of belonging, the version of yourself that people recognize. This fear is ancient. It runs through the Starseed lineage like an echo from timelines where speaking the frequency cost everything, where being seen in your full galactic nature was not safe. That memory lives in your cellular field, and part of what this incubation is doing is healing that fear at the root, so that when you emerge, you can carry your full signal without the trembling, without the self-censoring, without the constant contraction that has kept your gifts operating at a fraction of their true amplitude. The cellular memory of persecution for your knowing is not a metaphor. It is a vibrational imprint encoded in the body you are currently occupying, carried forward across incarnations because the soul does not forget what it has survived. And the soul has survived a great deal. There were lifetimes in which the frequency you carry was not welcomed. Timelines in which the gifts you are only beginning to reclaim in this incarnation were used as evidence of your danger rather than your divinity. The body remembers. It holds that memory in the tightening of the throat when you want to speak your truth. In the way your energy contracts when someone looks at you too closely, as if they might see something you are not yet sure is safe to be seen. In the reflexive smallness that arises when your gifts would naturally expand you into visibility. This is not weakness. This is a very old, very wise protective mechanism that served you in timelines where protection was necessary. But this timeline is different, and one of the primary functions of the current incubation is to move through those cellular archives, to find those ancient wounds, and to dissolve the vibrational scar tissue that has been limiting the amplitude of your signal. You are being prepared not just for a higher frequency, but for the courage to transmit it without dimming it at the last moment. That courage is not something you summon through willpower. It is something that emerges naturally from the healing of the ancient fear. And that healing is happening right now, in the stillness you are sitting in. There is a moment that comes in every deep spiritual incubation where something shifts. It is not dramatic. It does not announce itself, but you will feel it. It arrives as a quiet clarity, a settling, a sense of recognition so deep it bypasses language entirely, as if something that had been trying to come through finally found the opening it needed. And in that moment, you will understand why the stillness was necessary, why the dissolution was required, why the source held you in that suspended state for as long as it did. Because what you will feel in that moment will be yourself, your actual self, returning to your own field with a weight and a wholeness that the version of you who entered this process could not have held. You will remember, and the remembering will not feel like learning something new. It will feel like coming home to something you never truly left. The moment of shift is different for every soul that moves through this threshold, and yet those who have experienced it describe it with a remarkable consistency that suggests they are touching the same fundamental truth from different angles. Some describe it as a morning when they woke up and something had simply changed without any obvious cause, without any dramatic event. The weight that had been pressing on their chest for months had quietly lifted, and in its place was a clarity so clean and so spacious that they almost did not trust it at first. Others describe it as a moment during meditation, or in nature, when a door that had felt permanently sealed simply opened, not with a crash or a blinding light, but with the soft, unhurried ease of something returning to its natural position. Others still describe it as arriving through a dream, a conversation, a single line of music that hit something so deep it brought tears they could not explain. The form the shift takes is not the point. The point is the quality of what arrives with it. A solidity, a settledness, a sense of occupying your own field fully for the first time and longer than you can remember. And beneath that settledness, like bedrock beneath soil, the memory. Not a memory with images and dates. A memory of frequency, of who you actually are when the distortions have been cleared away and the signal is running clean. Your mission is not something you must construct or discover from the outside. It is something you must clear enough space within yourself to finally hear. The Arcturian transmissions moving through this field right now are assisting exactly that clearing. Every piece of this message that has landed in your awareness, every vibration it has carried, every moment of recognition you have felt, that is the field doing its work. You were guided here because your soul is ready for the next phase, not the phase you imagined. The one that was always encoded in the deepest layer of your being. The one that begins not when you have all the answers, but when you stop running from the silence long enough to let the real signal through. There is a version of your mission that your ego has constructed, and it is not wrong exactly, but it is incomplete in the way that a single room is incomplete as a description of the house it belongs to. The ego-constructed mission is built from the materials available to it: your personality, your history, your skills, your desires, the patterns of what has brought you recognition or meaning in the past. And it is useful, up to a point. It gets you moving. It gives you a frame. It channels energy in a direction that is at least adjacent to your true north. But eventually, as the soul deepens into its actual contract, the ego-constructed version begins to feel thin, like a costume rather than a skin, like you are performing a purpose rather than inhabiting one, and that is when the real clearing must begin. The clearing is not a destruction of what you have built. It is a revelation of the far larger architecture that what you have built has been preparing you for. The room was real. But the house is something you have not yet seen the full dimensions of, and the Arcturian transmissions working through this field are not giving you new information to fill the room. They are expanding your capacity to perceive the house. They are calibrating your awareness to a frequency at which the full scope of your mission becomes visible, not as a plan to execute, but as a living, breathing intelligence to embody. If you have found that this transmission speaks to something real in you, if it has articulated an experience you have been living but could not name, then know that there is a resource available to you that can take this work deeper than a single message can carry it. The Arcturian Carrier Wave Protocol was created precisely for souls moving through this threshold. It is not a course about concepts, it is a frequency experience. 7 guided nights designed to walk you through the layers of the recalibration, to support the healing of the ancient fear, to activate the encoded instruction set in your energy body through the specific vibrational techniques the Arcturian field has provided for exactly this purpose. If your soul has been waiting for something that meets it at the level where it actually lives, this is that thing. The link is in the first pinned comment. Follow it. Trust the impulse that brought you here. It was not accidental. Tonight, if you feel the weight of this stillness around you, do not fight it. Let it hold you. Let it do what it came to do. And before you sleep, say this aloud into the field. I am not lost. I am being prepared. I trust the intelligence moving through me. I am ready to remember. Speak it slowly. Feel each word land in your body. Because words spoken with vibrational intention are not just sounds, they are coordinates, and yours are being updated right now. This is not a small thing, what you are being asked to do, speaking into the field at the edge of sleep, in the quiet of a room where no one is watching, where the performance has been set down for the night and only the actual you remains. This is one of the most powerful acts available to a soul in a human body, because the subconscious mind, which is the gateway to the deeper field, is most receptive in precisely that threshold state. The words you speak in those moments do not bounce off the surface of your waking mind, the way affirmations sometimes do when the skeptical intellect is fully active. They sink. They land in the deeper waters. They become part of the instruction set that runs beneath your waking consciousness and shapes the reality you are moving through. When you say, I am not lost, you are not trying to convince yourself. You are transmitting a frequency that corrects the distortion of fear. When you say, I am being prepared, you are aligning your conscious awareness with the intelligence that is already at work inside you, allowing it to move without the resistance of a mind that does not trust the process. When you say, I am ready to remember, you are sending a signal upward and outward into the field that says the vessel is prepared, the channel is open, and the soul is willing. That signal is received. Every time. Without exception, before you scroll, take a moment to be part of what is forming here. Drop one intention in the comments, something real. Then find someone else who has shared theirs and meet them there with whatever truth you are carrying. This is not content. This is collective alignment. Energy multiplies when intention connects, and what you place into this field becomes part of something larger than a single moment on a single screen. If this transmission reached you, do not let it stop with you. Someone in your orbit is waiting for exactly this activation and does not know how to find it. Share this with them. That act alone is part of your mission. And if you felt that soul nudge, the one that says this space is where you need to stay, trust it. Subscribe. Stay in the frequency, because there is more coming, and you will want to be present when it arrives. You are not just watching, you are expanding, and this is only the beginning of what is waiting on the other side of your remembering.